Good morning, everybody. You are looking live. Beverly Hills Courthouse. And it's actually darker than that looks. But early in the morning here. Let me log on quick to say hello to everybody. Hello to everybody. Got a little sleep. Hey, German and Venice in the house. You know it's a big day. The man himself up at 6 in the morning. All right, so for those just joining, so today's the day. Hopefully, they set a date for the trial. It's not a guarantee that it's going to happen. They're going to hear some motions real briefly. So the two people that we're going to refer to as the actors in the fictional cable movie. Okay, the actors in the fictional cable movie. So if you hear me refer to them as the actors. Okay, until Victory Day, then we'll change our tune. All right. So it's the two actors bringing the lawsuit for the fourth time. It's been rejected 3 times already. So this is the reversal of the appeal of the repeal. Blah blah blah. Versus MJJ Productions and MJJ Ventures, which indirectly is Michael, but technically they're going after the corporations. That's the loophole that their new attorneys have found. So, for those that are, I was talking yesterday, some of you weren't even born when this all started. So here's just a brief history. The courthouse, they don't open for a couple hours. I got the parking guys coming in early in about an hour, to let me in. So, let's just kind of recap where it started. Try to keep the comments nice. You know, people are watching. Some people are and we're going to refer to the other person. He is the cinematographer, by the way, of that fictional movie, of the fictional cable movie. All right. So we're going to have the two actors and the cinematographer. You could go to Google. They're credited as actors. And the other person's also credited as a cinematographer. Okay? So that's what we're going to refer them as. The two actors and the cinematographer from the fictional cable movie. All right, got it. All right, here we go. Let's go back to the early 90s and just see where all this mess kind of started. All right? Here we go, everybody.
He has rejected the deal, period. For one project, yes. Okay. So then there is no deal. Right. Remember? Right. You said take it or leave it. Bingo. Okay. Then we don't have to have a discussion about this again. Okay. All right. That's where it's at. I've already told you that we think that this is an extortion.
This is Anthony Pellicano.
I've made those statements to you time and time again.
You can say that, Anthony.
Okay. But the thing that I'm trying to... My client is innocent of any wrongdoing, and I don't care.
I don't want to get into that with you, Anthony.
All right. That's why I didn't want to get into it, because every time we get in...
There's a different opinion.
I understand that, and he's welcome to whatever opinion he wants, and he can profess that to whomever he wants to, with or without me.
I understand.
What I'm saying to you is that my purposes were to get this deal for him, you understand, because it would be good for him, you understand, and it would perpetuate the friendship.
I understand, but it fell apart because you offered 3 and then recanted on it.
The 3 as in millions.
This man is going to be humiliated beyond belief. He will not believe what's going to happen.
This is Jordan Chandler's father, who committed suicide.
I interviewed several, and I picked the nastiest son of a bitch I can find. Once I make that phone call, this guy is just going to destroy everybody in sight. Any devious, nasty, cruel way that he can do it, and I've given him full authority to do that. It'll be a massacre. I don't get what I want. If I go through with this, I win big time. I will get everything I want, and they will be destroyed forever. They will be destroyed. June is going to lose Jordy. She will have no right to ever see him again. Yeah. That's a fact, Dave. That's what's going to happen. Does that help? Michael's career will be over. Does that help Jordy? Michael's career will be over. And does that help Jordy? That's irrelevant to me.
Did you hear that? Does that help Jordy? And the father says that's irrelevant to me. Oh, boy.
Obviously, we're disappointed in the verdict, but we work every day in a system of justice. We believe in the system of justice, and I've been a prosecutor for 37 years, and 37 years I've never quarreled with a jury's verdict, and I'm not going to start today.
I can't really point to any one specific item right now. There were tons of evidence to consider, and to pick one item out is really difficult. And I would just say that we considered all of the evidence, and of course, since it's a criminal trial, it had to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And in looking at all of the evidence and not just one specific item, that's the conclusion we arrived at.
Yeah? If you want, yeah.
All right. Can you come down here? Mr. Jackson?
We take all our fans for the support they gave us, Diane Diamond and Nancy Grace was not good to us at all.
Yeah, Benny. Tom Sneddon has graciously come to talk to us for a few minutes after this case is over and after the news conference you just saw him give. Mr. Sneddon, thanks a lot for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
What did you think when you heard that not guilty, not guilty, not guilty over and over again?
Well, actually, after the second not guilty, we knew what the rest of them were, so sort of tuned out.
I know you can't be happy with it. What are you with it? Are you defeated? Are you deflated? Are you mad?
No, disappointed. As I indicated in my press conference, we don't argue with juries' verdicts. That's our job is to put the evidence on. I'm very proud of the job that was done by the members of my staff and by the Sheriff's Department. And we feel that we did an excellent job of representing the people of the state of California. So I'm not apologizing for anything. I think we did a good job.
This is obviously the second case, everybody.
What do you think the jury did see? Do you think they just had reasonable doubt that Tom Mesereau talked about, or do you think maybe they found some fault with, say, this young accuser's mother? She was so controversial.
I don't know. It would be pure speculation to say how they arrived at their verdicts. They obviously, it's clear when you acquit on all 10 charges that credibility must have been a substantial issue.
14 charges, by the way, everybody.
You have 9 children.
10 felonies, 4 misdemeanors.
Child sexual abuse cases.
No, Sonara, be nice with the comments. Come on. I'm going to have to delete that stuff.
Well, that's a difficult question in the sense that I think that, like everybody else who has been a survivor of this kind of thing, that they learn to adjust. I think he'll be hurt because, in the sense that his credibility.
Thank you, Cherie. That's nice. Wow.
Forward in the face of one of the world's most well-known celebrities, and it's like a David and Goliath story, except this time David didn't make it, and so I'm sure that he will feel some of that. I have not had a chance to talk to him yet, but I think I know him well enough to know that he will move forward and he will be a success in life.
Oh yeah, he's a big success.
He's gone through more in 15 years of life than most of us go through if we live to be 110. You don't go through the battles that he's been through with cancer and then this trial and all the stress and everything else that goes with it, and stepping up to the plate where a lot of people didn't step up to the plate. I think that tells you a measure of the young man, and I think that tells you a measure of how he will succeed in the face of future obstacles, and he'll do well.
You speak of him as a victim, yet the jury system doesn't really agree with that, do they?
Well, let's just put it this way. The jury obviously felt in their verdict that, for whatever reason, they didn't see it that way. But I would be less than candid if I told you that I didn't think that those of us associated with the case, the Sheriff's Department and the DA's office, believed this young man.
No, you
we
didn't.
We wouldn't have been here. We believed in him. And for that reason, we felt that this case needed to be tried.
You know, when Tom Mesereau cross-examined that young man, you later said outside the presence of the jury to the judge that in his cross-examination of the accuser, he was as obnoxious and mean-spirited as you had ever seen. Tom Mesereau, your opinion of him today?
Oh, I
see that smile on your face.
This is not a time to be talking of those kinds of things. You know, we were in trial, and people do things in trial and say things in trial. I don't mean to say that I didn't mean what I said to the judge, but I think that it's time to move on.
The judge in this case, you did not get in all the evidence you wanted. You didn't get a battered women's syndrome expert. You didn't get Ken Lanning, the FBI profiler, pedophile profiler, in to talk about the grooming books, the materials. Do you think that made a difference?
No.
No?
No. I really don't. And I have no criticism of the judge. It was a difficult trial for him, and he ran a tight ship, as the media well knows.
Yes,
and he ran a tight ship with regard to the lawyers, and I don't think that anything that the judge said or did during the course of the trial in any way would have affected the outcome of the verdict.
We just saw some pictures as you were sitting down of Michael Jackson arriving back at Neverland in his entourage and all the fans lining the gates and the streets of Neverland. Give us your opinion of this man. What kind of man is he in your estimation?
Well, Diane, I don't know that it would be appropriate for me to comment about Michael Jackson. I think we...
How about a guy you lost to twice?
In the courtroom, we put our evidence on. I think the evidence speaks for itself. And I don't think it's time for me to be talking about Mr. Jackson one way or the other.
How about a message to any families with young sons who may want to visit Neverland in the future? Do you have any
Believe he's smiling? Really? All right. So.
No, I don't.
The 1993 accuser, he and his family got upwards of $20 million back in 1993. I know you talked to him during this investigation and I guess the trial. What did he have to say?
Well, I haven't talked to him recently, so...
Why didn't he want to come and testify?
I think you should probably ask him that question. I don't think...
Can I get his phone number from you?
I'm not the family spokesperson, I'm not his spokesperson, and I think if that, that's for somebody else, but my guess is he's probably thinking that whatever decision he made was probably the wise one, given what happened. I mean, if you look at somebody like Jason Francia, who testified, who's without any motive to do anything other than tell the truth, it obviously had no impact on the case or the jury's verdict indicated.
He was one of the 1108 witnesses.
Right. I think probably the victim from 93 saying that he made a good decision. In 93 and then now.
Goes back to what you were saying at that news conference. You learned some lessons about the power of celebrity. Is that what you mean?
I guess that's what I mean. You tend to think that, you tend to hope that the celebrity status of an individual does not become either a hammer or a shield in a case. And yet, putting aside this trial, the lessons of American trials, is that it is a factor. And all you can do as a prosecutor who is given the responsibility of representing your community is to do what you think is correct based on the evidence and the testimony and the investigation and the believability of the victim, and do what's...
All right, we had about enough of him. I want you to listen to this next one.
The way that you think it should work out, that's part of the system, but that doesn't mean you don't do your job because you're afraid.
On the next video here, try to listen closely as to what Diane Dimond says to him.
There are a lot of people who have come up to me and said to me, I'm very grateful.
All right. Try to listen close to what Diane Diamond says to him.
During the trial, Diane Diamond was the worst person in the world.
Listen.
Your hands are very cold. I didn't say.
Your hands are very cold, and he says, yes, they are.
I don't understand how these people can run out and lie. They don't even get a chance to find out the truth.
She said, Mr. Sledden, your hands are very cold.
We take all our fans for the support they gave us, you know. Diane Diamond and Nancy Grace was not good to us at all.
Mr. Sledden, your hands are very cold.
For over a decade, Sledden has been a thorn in Michael Jackson.
I just got to lower it a little. We're going to save this song until verdict day, and then we're going to blast it. You guys are tuning in. We're here at the courthouse, waiting for it to open. We're going to play a couple videos. No, I know, Shirley. I should be all right. Just this part here when they put his name up. Everybody sing. All right. We got you, Michael. Don't worry.
We got such crooked people.
Here's my hero. This man's name is William Wagner. Listen closely.
But they won't come on my show and let me answer questions. I'll say 6 judges in this county right now, this election, June primary. I want all those judges to come on and answer questions. I want to ask them why they didn't demand, because they're an officer of the court, that Tom Sneddon be indicted for falsifying evidence in the Michael Jackson trial. And I was a witness. I was right there in the courtroom, watched him get caught, false fingerprints evidence, the phone evidence that they tried to create to say there was a conspiracy, and all these phone charges, half a day on that. Then Sneddon wanted to withdraw it from the evidence pool in the court. No. The defender, Tom Mesro, said, that stays on. Judge said, you're right. It's already been entered. It stays. And the jury looked at all this false evidence and said, there's no way we can convict this guy. We got a pile of crap from Tom Sneddon. Now, Tom Sneddon's probably endorsed you, hasn't he?
No. I know Tom. I know him kind of briefly.
Listen close.
Never was really that close because I was obviously.
Did you wash?
He was an elected official, and I was,
You wash your hands after shaking his hand? I mean, this guy literally falsified evidence, and it's on the record. And there's millions of Jackson fans hate Santa Barbara County.
Yeah. See, I'm not aware of any of this, William.
Oh, I know. This is way beyond your field.
But I've always had good thoughts of Tom. I always thought he was a very honorable, good DA.
I did too.
So I'm not aware of any of this.
Tom Sneddon put some bad people in jail that needed to be in jail.
I think he was a successful DA.
Well, I know successful DAs that were crooks too.
I love this guy. I hope he comes.
Was so beyond the pale of forgiveness. I have to say, and I know this won't make me popular with Gordy Auchincloss and Ron Zonin and that old bunch of DAs, and certainly not Dudley or Josh Lynn, but I believe Tom Sneddon should be serving time in prison, and that's where he should be getting his... He'll have lots of money in his prison account getting his pension, but he should be in prison. You cannot falsify evidence and then just say, oh, we lost the case. No. He had that boy put his fingerprints on the magazine at the grand jury. And the reason we know that, because the alert Tom Mesereau, the defense attorney, got the grand jury transcript. And one of the grand jurors said, shouldn't that boy be wearing gloves? Then after the grand jury, they sent it out for fingerprints analysis. So where did the boy get his fingerprint on the magazine when the boy testified he hadn't even been at Neverland for months when that magazine was published? Yet he claimed that was the magazine Michael Jackson gave him in bed. And Tom Sneddon directed all that testimony. He falsified. Now, if he was a new DA, if he was green behind the ears, and he just got elected DA, and he made a stupid mistake, like giving the evidence to a boy, and then sending it out, fingerprint evidence with no gloves on, I would say, okay, he made a mistake. He's a greenhorn. He didn't know what he was doing. We can let it go. But 25 years? 25 years? That's like saying if we find 5 years from now that somebody in your office had been pilfering money one way or another, and we say, well, we're just going to forgive him because he worked so many years in the office, we're going to just let it go.
Never. We would never forgive him.
Well, neither should we forgive Tom Sneddon. The man should be doing time in jail. And I look at the trial.
But he should have the benefit of a trial.
Of course he gets a trial. Of course he gets a trial. And we bring on the record, we bring the record from the Michael Jackson trial and say, here it is, jury. The man is guilty of sin. And we lay it out. We lay out the grand jury's transcript, and there it is. And put that Tom Sneddon in prison. He needs to do some hard time. Just because you put bad guys... It's like saying if a cop stopped 10 bad guys from robbing Mr. Hagen's house, and every year these bad guys come to rob you, and the cops show up and they stop them. But 1 year...
I'd be very happy.
Oh, of course you would be happy. But if the same cop came back one day and said, well, you know, I think I should rob Mr. Hagen, and he shoots Mr. Hagen and takes your money.
Now I wouldn't be happy.
Right, exactly. It's my point. That's exactly my point. Now we say, well, the cop stopped all these bad guys for 10 years, so we'll just give them a free pass this one time.
No, that's not the way it works.
That's right. That's not the way it works.
That's not the way the American system works.
Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Hagen. I wanted to get your agreement. Tom Sneddon should be in prison because the evidence is there.
That's not what I agreed to.
All right. So that's a little recap. Okay. And now this brings us to today.
We were looking at Exhibit 579.
No, Laura, he's no longer with us.
The statement that you wrote was, Michael Jackson changed the world, and more personally, my life forever. He's the reason I dance, the reason I make music.
I've reached out to William Wagner a couple of times. He hasn't got back to me, but...
He's been a close friend of mine for 20 years. His music, his
Here's the first actor.
His personal words of inspiration and encouragement, and his unconditional love will live inside of me forever. I will miss him immeasurably, but I know that he is now at peace and enchanting the heavens with a melody and a moonwalk. I love you, Michael. Is that right?
That's what I wrote, yeah.
Wade Robson, who met Michael Jackson when he was 5 years old after winning a dance contest in Australia. For decades, he never missed a chance to refer to himself as a close friend of the pop star, someone who was his mentor, and largely responsible for Robson's successful career as a dancer, choreographer, and stage director.
I don't know, Mike. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Never before seen publicly. Robson talks about that glowing tribute he wrote to his longtime friend, Michael Jackson, in the days after the pop superstar died.
I love you, Michael. Is that right?
That's what I wrote, yeah.
But now Wade Robson is singing a different tune. He and another proven liar, James Safechuck,
that's the
claim
second
they were
actor,
sexually abused by Michael Jackson as young boys in a one-sided so-called documentary called Leaving Neverland.
everybody wanted to meet Michael or be with Michael. And then he likes you.
Critics say Leaving Neverland only has one goal: money. Wade Robson and James Safechuck both swore
That's the cinematographer in the middle.
Did nothing inappropriate.
The two actors and the cinematographer.
In a failed effort to get rich, they changed their stories to seek a huge, multi-million-dollar monetary payday in lawsuits against Jackson's estate and companies. Their lawsuits against the Jackson estate have been dismissed not once, but twice. Nonetheless, they are pending on appeal, so Robson and Safechuck are still holding out hope for a big jackpot.
And that's where we are today,
this
everybody.
one-sided hit piece leads them to their pot of gold.
If there's a potential financial payout of hundreds of millions of dollars, there is an incentive.
That litigation over the last 5 years or so has generated many, many hundreds of pages of legal documents in the form of sworn declarations, deposition transcripts, motions, judgments, etc. And anybody who's been following the case and following those documents as they're published will be aware that there are significant problems with these guys' stories. One of them was caught committing perjury in his creditor's claim. So we knew before the film came out that the two protagonists on whose stories it was based had credibility issues.
Skeptical media throughout the world are questioning director Dan Reed's agenda in making the film. They see through...
No, Shirley. He's credited as the cinematographer. Go to Google, and the two are credited as actors.
While offering not one shred of evidence or independent corroboration to support
Here's the
their stories.
cinematographer of the fictional cable movie.
Admitted lying in the past and changed their stories a number of times. So the entire film rests on their word and nothing else.
Director's too high of a title, Shirley. That's why we're doing it.
Because you didn't include the opposing points of views in the film. Was that a conscious decision from the get-go?
If you're going to be mentioning Michael Jackson, though, don't you have some obligation to get in touch with the people who have his interests, even though he's not here, obviously? Because you're saying and you're repeating some pretty extraordinary things, don't you have an obligation to talk to the family, even if you claim this isn't about him?
Well, what does the family know about the sexual abuse that happened? Do you think they know about the sexual abuse?
But when you're doing it, this is documentary.
It is, yeah.
Right? So when you're doing a documentary, don't you have an obligation to at least ask the question? Because you don't know what the answers to questions are until you ask.
Well, we know that the family and the estates and Jackson during his lifetime and his lawyers all denied that any sexual abuse took place. And those views are strongly represented in the film. We give those views a lot of time in the film on screen.
This is a huge payday, potentially, for anyone who can establish they were victims. And I'm not questioning them. I don't know the truth. I'm questioning you as the director because you never went to the Jackson family before you...
We don't make any allegations about the Jackson family. So why would I...
Well, you make an allegation that Michael Jackson's a paedophile.
Yeah, so I make allegations about Michael, but Michael's dead.
He's dead.
And I've put his rebuttals, his denials in the film.
So the devil's advocate would say, well, okay, the guy's dead. He can't respond to this.
But Wade Robson and James Safechuck are not dead.
Jackson was accused in 2003 by the Santa Barbara County District Attorney, who some said carried out a personal vendetta against Michael Jackson that lasted for more than a decade.
Well, we haven't ruled anything out.
In 2005, Jackson was declared innocent by a jury in a case involving a boy named Gavin Arvizo, one that CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin called an absolute and complete victory for Michael Jackson and an utter humiliation and defeat for the prosecution.
No, Marnie, come on, keep it clean. I'm going to have to delete the comments.
Misrepresentations, omissions, and outright falsehoods have been identified in the film, which relies solely on ever-changing stories of Robson and Safechuck. Leaving Neverland is a film that has been shown to include provable lies, conflicting accounts, contradictions, staged reshoots, faked scenes, reconstructed memories, critical information omitted, manipulated news clips, discredited source material, and key motives ignored. Perhaps the most glaring fabrication in Leaving Neverland comes from accuser James Safechuck, who clearly lied in the film by claiming he was sexually abused in the Neverland train station Michael Jackson had built to resemble the one at Disneyland. But there's a big problem with this story. A huge discrepancy in the timeline.
He says that one of the locations where Michael Jackson was abusing him on a daily basis was the Neverland train station. And he vividly describes the interior of the train station. Now, this version of the story that he tells in the TV show places that abuse in the train station in 1988-89. The train station did not even open until 1994. And as you correctly say, in his sworn declarations, in his ongoing litigation,
just a small detail,
he says that Michael Jackson stopped molesting him when he was around 14 years old in 1992 because he got too old for him. And the whole narrative of this film is that Michael Jackson molests boys, and then when the boys hit puberty and get too old, he then ditches them and moves on to a younger boy. That's the whole narrative that they're selling with this documentary. But when it's revealed that this location where Safechuck is describing his abuse it did not exist when he was the age he said he was, Dan Reed, the director of the documentary, goes
cinematographer,
on Twitter and says, well, there's no dispute about when the train station was built, but what's in dispute is the dates of the abuse. Right. So James Safechuck was abused after the train station was built. Well, firstly, he's now accusing his own star witness of perjury because James Safechuck has signed not one but two sworn declarations in which he states that Michael Jackson never abused him after 1992. Right. So in order to defend his documentary, he's throwing its star witness under the bus by calling him a perjurer, but also he's upended the entire narrative of his documentary.
Leaving Neverland contradicts the alleged victim's own sworn depositions. In the video, Wade Robson
no problem,
spins a
Marty. I know.
tale of
Just
being
people
left
are
alone
watching,
in
so
1990 with Michael Jackson at Neverland. Robson claims that while his family was hundreds of miles away at the Grand Canyon, Michael Jackson abused him for the first time. But that's not the story Robson told in his lawsuit against Jackson's companies or in a deposition under penalty of perjury just months before HBO's cameras began rolling. There, he claims his family was still at Neverland when it first happened, and his sister was sleeping upstairs in Michael's room. Two entirely different versions of events told by Wade Robson, just 2 months apart.
First night, the night prior, we both slept in the bed with Michael. And at some point in that second night, she said to me, I think we should, you and I should sleep upstairs. I don't know why. I don't know why she said that or why she thought that, but I didn't want to. So then whenever it was bedtime, she went upstairs and Michael and I stayed in the bed downstairs. And I believe at some point that night the abuse started.
So which is it? The version Wade Robson tells in a sworn deposition, or his version in Leaving Neverland? If he changes his story in 2 months for the cameras, how can you trust him at all? But that's not all. Earlier testimony by Robson and his mother contradict the entire 1990 story told in Leaving Neverland that director Dan Reed uses as a foundation for the film. Robson's mother Joy testified in 1993 that her son was never alone with Michael Jackson at Neverland until that year. And here she is seen confirming under oath in 2016 that her entire family, husband, parents, and kids, went on the trip to the Grand Canyon.
I understand that you stayed then 2 different weekends at Neverland on that trip, is that right?
Yes.
And then in between you and your kids and your husband and your parents all went on tourist trip to the Grand Canyon?
Yes.
So you were there, is it 2 nights the first time?
Yes.
And then you came back after your whole family had gone away?
Yes.
And you spent another, 2 nights?
At Neverland, yes.
Robson himself testified as an adult that the first time he visited Neverland without his mother was in 1992 or 1993, which means he would not have been alone at Neverland with Michael Jackson in 1990, as Leaving Neverland
Philippa,
claimed.
feel free to express yourself.
In other words, Robson and his family over time have told multiple versions of a key story viewers heard in Leaving Neverland. So which is it? The version Joy Robson tells in her deposition, or the version Dan Reed presents in Leaving Neverland? James Safechuck's dramatic scene where he claims Michael Jackson gave him jewelry.
Watch this one, you guys. This one's great.
An alleged wedding ring was deceptively staged and edited to appear as one seamless scene.
Watch this.
When, in fact, it was actually edited together from filming done on 2 separate occasions, 17 months apart, and done intentionally to pump up the drama of the scene. You can tell by looking at his clothes.
Hang on, you guys.
Essentially the same in both.
My parking guy, the parking guy came in early today to let me in. Hold on. Part of me hopes that they keep the trial here, but I don't think. The only problem is, I hope I get reception. Look, now this is service. Come on. Forget the media. We're the media. We're here to present the facts. I wonder if this is where the... Wow, this is small. My goodness. I can park right here? Okay. Can I fit? It's a little tight, no? Yeah? Is it small? Small? Right here? Okay. Hang on, you guys. I wonder if this is... I don't know if this is where... Hang on a second. I like to take up 2 spots, but... He must say, who is this guy? Yeah, I'm gonna back in case I have to make a quick exit. All right. Hold on a second. All right. More? Good. Okay. Can I stay in the car for a few minutes? What's that? Can I sit here for a couple minutes? I'm just on the camera. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So let's continue.
Except he forgot the undershirt the second time around.
Wait. Hang on. That's important. Hang on. That's important.
Clearly appear as one seamless scene when, in fact, it was actually edited together from filming done on 2 separate occasions, 17 months apart, and done intentionally to pump up the drama of the scene. You can tell by looking at his clothes, essentially the same in both shots, except he forgot the undershirt the second time around.
A small detail.
And look out the window. Clearly different seasons, with the plants trimmed in one shot, but not the other. Once people pointed out the changes, Dan Reed was forced to admit he went back and rented the same Airbnb to recreate and reshoot the scene nearly a year and a half later.
He's not a good cinematographer.
Do viewers trust deceptive editing? The staged sequence at the end of Leaving Neverland, showing Wade Robson burning Michael Jackson items, is misleading to the point of fakery. That's because Robson sold his most valuable Michael Jackson memorabilia in 2011 for nearly $100,000. Needing money, he consigned all items to Julian's auction and tried to remain anonymous. But Julian's auctions wouldn't agree, tweeting, Wade asked to remain anonymous and said that he did not want anyone to know that it was him selling the items in 2011. But we did not agree to that and listed it as the Wade Robson collection. He consigned multiple items and wanted us to sell all items of his that had value. Leaving Neverland fails to mention Wade Robson has been looking to make money by shopping for a lucrative book deal, unsuccessfully, about the allegations in the year prior to his lawsuit. Leaving Neverland also fails to mention that when writing it, Robson could recall so few details in 2012 about his story with Michael Jackson, the same details he remembers with such supposed precision in Leaving Neverland.
What are you doing?
To ask his mother
Officer, you wouldn't believe it if I
to help him fill in the blanks.
Did you ever ask your mother for any written materials to help you write your book?
I think along the same lines, but maybe I would ask her, you know, of a certain...
Yeah, see, we're in an underground parking lot. Maybe I should... Hold on a second. Maybe I should walk outside. Let me see. Might have just buffered. No. Okay, thank you. That's my man there. So we're actually locked in here. The poor guy came in early. No. All right, it's buffering. Yeah, it's a little cold outside. So it'd be a good day. It'd be a good day to wear. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
As it goes along, you know, it evolves. Details get added to.
Wade Robson was one of the witnesses who eagerly testified for Michael Jackson in 2005. Robson had his family claim in Leaving Neverland it was at a Neverland dinner the night before Robson testified in Michael Jackson's 2005 criminal trial that he became convinced that he needed to lie on the stand the next day to save him. Except, according to Jackson family members, that dinner actually took place after Wade testified. He also claims in the film he had to testify because he was subpoenaed.
Then you have his constantly changing story about how he came to testify in 2005 for Michael Jackson's defense, beginning with, I didn't realize I'd been abused, and then morphing into, well, I did know I'd been abused, but I didn't want to be responsible for orphaning his children, so I decided to testify in his defense, and then morphing into, I was threatened and bullied by Michael Jackson and his lawyers. So that story keeps changing. There are massive problems with his story, you know, to the point where you could take any one of those issues that I've just listed, and that would be sufficient grounds on which to say, this guy has problems with his story. You cannot believe it beyond a reasonable doubt. But when you add it all together, I mean, it's catastrophically damaging.
Jackson's attorney, Tom Mesereau, who says he doesn't believe Michael Jackson was a molester for 5 seconds, said Robson never wavered during the trial and how adamant he was that Michael was innocent.
He was very, very strong in his defense of Michael Jackson. He told me in no uncertain terms he had not been molested, he had not been abused, and that these claims were ridiculous. I mean, this man was so strongly supportive of Michael Jackson, so powerful in his defense of Michael Jackson, that it just shocks me that he's changed his story in recent years. I just can't get over it.
Mesereau also says Wade Robson's claim in Leaving Neverland that he was subpoenaed and forced to testify in the 2005 trial is simply not true. So does defense investigator Scott Ross.
As far as making anybody testify, I would love for Wade Robson to show me the subpoena he never got.
When pressed in a deposition, Robson could not provide any specifics about his alleged subpoena.
Do you recall being subpoenaed for the criminal testimony in 2005?
I do.
Do you recall where you were when you were subpoenaed?
I don't.
Do you recall if you were with anyone when you were subpoenaed?
I don't remember how I got subpoenaed.
This is a transcript.
You would never remember where you got subpoenaed. That's not a memorable event in your life. They're not only actors, they're bad actors.
It appears to be that way.
Robson now claims he committed the crime of perjury on the witness stand in 2005, even as skeptics point to the rigorous cross-examination he was subjected to.
On line 18, you're asked, Mr. Robson, did Michael Jackson ever molest you at any time? And you said, absolutely not, correct?
Correct.
And that was a lie, right?
That was a lie, yeah.
Okay. On line 21, you're asked, Mr. Robson, did Michael Jackson ever touch you in a sexual way? And you responded, never, no, correct?
Correct.
And that was a lie, correct?
That was what I had rehearsed with Michael.
And you now claim that that was a lie, correct?
That was not the truth, yeah.
On line 24, you were asked, Mr. Robson, has Mr. Jackson ever inappropriately touched any part of your body at any time, correct?
Correct.
And your answer was no, correct?
Correct.
And you now claim that that was a lie, correct?
That was not the truth.
You turn to page 9100. On line 14, you were asked, and at no time has any sexual contact ever occurred between you and Mr. Jackson, right? Do you see that?
Yes.
And your answer was never, correct?
Yes.
And you now claim that that was a lie, correct?
That was not the truth.
That's why you always start with your strongest witness. In our case, that was Wade Robson. Wade Robson had to get through 3 seasoned, experienced, intelligent attorneys. How is it that when those 3 attorneys, this was not a surprise attack, those 3 attorneys, very seasoned, experienced, 3 attorneys with cross-examination history under their belt, prosecutors, got together the night before, prepared their attack, how are they not able to break Wade Robson? If you're trying to hide the truth, you're going to waver, you're going to do whatever.
And James Safechuck's claim in Leaving Neverland that Jackson pressured him to testify during the trial is provably false because he was eliminated as a witness by the judge well before the trial even began. Leaving Neverland leaves out critical information that seriously calls Wade Robson's story into question. Robson's description of Neverland as an adult was nothing like the House of Horrors he now claims it was. He gushed about how wonderful it was.
So we went to the studio where he was recording the Dangerous album at the time, and it's like 89, and with the whole family, grandparents and everybody, and just hung out for a couple hours and watched videotapes, and then he asked the whole family to come back to the ranch, his place that night, Neverland, and we ended up staying there for like a week.
That must be every kid's dream. I mean, my dream would have been to go there too.
I mean, it's Disneyland. You know, his house you show up, it was just the best thing in the world.
Wade asked if he and his fiancée could be married there while Michael was on trial. Turned down because it was such an inappropriate request at the time. And Robson even shot a short film at Neverland with his wife, and in the credits, thanks Michael Jackson for letting him use his sacred land.
Michael Jackson is not going to be abused. Michael Jackson is not going to be slammed, is not going to be a piñata for every person who has financial motives.
Another misleading piece in the so-called documentary. A news clip of Mark Garagos, who initially represented Michael in 2003 in the criminal case, is manipulated to appear as if he's threatening an accuser after Michael's arrest.
We will land on you like a ton of bricks. We will land on you like a hammer. If you do anything to besmirch this man's reputation, anything to intrude on his privacy in any way that's actionable, we will unleash a legal torrent like you've never seen.
In fact, he was talking about a completely different legal case in which he and Michael were secretly videotaped on board a charter aircraft.
Disclosed that those 2 video cameras, which also apparently had audio on them, were surreptitiously placed in there, were recording attorney-client conversations, and then somebody had the unmitigated gall to shop those tapes around to media outlets in order to sell them to the highest bidder.
Graphic sexual details, especially in Safechuck's story, are similar to details contained in a discredited book by Victor Gutierrez, who Michael Jackson successfully sued for $2.7 million. Leaving Neverland never mentions that Wade Robson literally begged to get a position working with Cirque du Soleil on the Michael Jackson 1 show in Las Vegas, a job that he badly wanted prior to suing Michael's estate.
A couple of years before the show premiered, Wade sent an email to the creative team at Cirque stating, and I quote, "I always wanted to do this MJ show badly." He then goes on in this email to say, "I know that I am meant to do this show. I am passionate to do this show. I want to make it amazing for me, for you, for Cirque, and of course, for Michael." The gig ended up going to Jimmy King, yes. So obviously he didn't get the gig.
Even so, in July of 2011, Wade Robson did an interview stating he was starting work on the show.
I'm starting on Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson show.
No, you're not.
Which is, exciting and terrifying all at the same time because it's such a huge responsibility.
Wade's, changed his story about 4 different times. I would say that Wade, decided he went to my uncle's memorial. He did tribute shows left and right for my uncle. The minute he did not get MJ1, he all of a sudden starts writing a book on the down low. No one wanted to buy the book, and then all of a sudden he comes up with these allegations.
Leaving Neverland also strongly implies that 2 other friends of Michael Jackson's, Brett Barnes and actor Macaulay Culkin, were sexually abused. It suggests that other boys were lined up to replace older ones, almost like an assembly line. Yet neither was contacted during the making of the film. Instead of giving them a fair chance to respond to his smears, Reed threw up a sentence on screen for 5 seconds stating they have consistently denied abuse, seemingly winking at the audience as he does it. Both have always maintained Michael was never inappropriate with them, and both testified under oath as adults that nothing untoward happened.
We were friends. We were seriously, he was my best friend growing up for a good fat stretch of my life. Yeah. It was legitimate friendship. All I can speak to really is the way he was, and despite whatever the reasoning was, kind of thing. Yeah. But no, he likes being around kids, and it wasn't odd. No, to you. It was honestly, it never struck me as odd. I never felt uncomfortable or anything like that.
Brett Barnes contacted his lawyers and asked his name and likeness to be removed from the film. HBO refused, and there are even more verifiable lies being spun by Leaving Neverland in the promotion of the film. Director Dan Reed states that Robson and Safechuck didn't meet as adults until the Sundance Festival. This is false. According to Robson's 2016 deposition, they spoke in 2014, and their shared legal team was present. Later, it was revealed the meeting occurred in person over lunch. Robson claimed that he was abused hundreds of times. But his deposition and his mother's depositions show that they only spent 4 occasions at Neverland while Michael was there, between 1991 and 2005. They slept a couple of times at Jackson's condo in Century City, and sometimes other people were there too, and Wade never went on tour with Jackson. So why didn't Wade Robson speak up sooner? In the film, Robson claims he was in love with Jackson, and that was why he did not speak sooner. But that's just one of the many versions he gave. He also says he didn't know it was abuse and was wrong. He thought he would go to jail. He was taught to lie about abuse, but others say it's because now that Michael Jackson is dead, he is an easy target for those who are willing to make up any allegations without risk of being sued for defamation.
Every single person who accuses Michael Jackson subsequently goes straight to a civil lawyer and tries to sue him. There is never an accuser who simply walks into a police station and says, Michael Jackson molested me, what are you going to do about it? They
hundreds of times,
go to a lawyer
four,
say,
4 visits in 14 years.
Did you attend the memorial service for Michael Jackson at the Staples Center?
Yeah. Robson's reaction to Michael Jackson's death is telling. In Leaving Neverland, Wade Robson and his family claimed they remembered.
Hey, it's like the Beat Doors going up.
At Michael
Vincent
Jackson's
Patterson
memorial service, even more than at his own father's funeral. It's obviously intended for drama, but just a few months before the HBO cameras rolled, in his 2016 deposition, Wade Robson casts doubts on that version. It also showed he was still annoyed he wasn't invited to a private service for family and close friends.
Did you cry at the memorial service at the Staples Center?
I might have. I don't remember.
Were you invited to the private memorial?
I don't believe so.
Were you upset that you were not invited to the private memorial?
Yeah, I was hurt.
Why?
Because at that point, you know, I still thought that that Michael and I were, you know, were close friends for a very long time, had a long relationship. That, you know, that I would have been included in something like that.
Actually, he was so eager to exploit his friend's death, he reached out to producers of the primetime show So You Think You Can Dance less than 24 hours after Jackson died to make sure they knew he was available in case the show was planning a tribute.
This is an email that you wrote to Jeff Thacker on June 26, 2009, correct?
Yeah.
Is the show that you're referring to in the last...
It's almost
second
over.
to last sentence or second to last line. You said, I wanted to write you now, so if you guys are thinking of doing any dance tribute to MJ on the show, I would like it to be me who does it. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Is the show So You Think You Can Dance?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is Jeff Thacker associated with So You Think You Can Dance?
Yeah, he's a producer. It speaks to my compartmentalization at the time.
In fact, Wade Robson had nothing but wonderful things to say about Michael Jackson, both while he was living and after he died, when his career was involved.
In general, with Michael, just had a wonderful relationship. I learned so much from him as an artist and as a kind human being. And it's my goal to try and just continue as much as I can in my own little world, that legacy. We talk so much about him as the pop legend, which is important, but it's nice to really remember that he was a man, that he was a father, and that's what it's really about, is a father and his children, and he's a wonderful dad.
Are you still friendly with Michael?
Yeah, we still talk every couple months, catch up.
You do, really? Well, what's he like?
Oh,
What's he like? He's a good guy.
Is he a good guy?
Even after Michael's death, Wade Robson had nothing but praise to offer, including these interviews prior to the emotional 2009 MTV Music Video Awards tribute to Michael Jackson, starring Michael's sister Janet, in which Wade performed as one of her dancers.
There's a huge connection between Michael Jackson and MTV and really starting this real music video generation on MTV, and Michael was really the king of that. So I like all of those connections, and obviously my connection with Michael and all of that coming together is kind of just one of those serendipitous things where all the elements have come together. So I'm excited for a lot of reasons to be a part of it.
These are Michael's gloves from the Bad music video. Michael gave them to me when I was, I don't know, 7 or 8. He's going to be with us spiritually, but I wanted to feel something physical from him. So I'm probably going to rock one of these tonight too while we perform on stage and just feel that much closer to him.
Although Leaving Neverland has been massively discredited, the movie has not had the impact the filmmakers were hoping for.
I think what they were hoping for was a response akin to the Harvey Weinstein response, you know, where all of a sudden you have another person coming out and then another person coming out and then another person, and it's just this huge snowball that keeps getting bigger and bigger, and in the end it destroys Michael Jackson. I think Dan Reed thought he was going to win a Pulitzer or something. But in fact, it's just been a complete catastrophe for them, because it's not had anything like the impact that they thought it would. There's been like a handful of radio stations in the whole world who've actually banned the music, and but you know, like 99.9% are still playing it. And in the meantime, the documentary's been completely discredited online. It's not done anything like the numbers, I think, that they thought it would.
And that brings us to today, you guys. Let's hear some truth.
The 2005 trial must have been one of the most difficult and unique cases to have worked on. How did you both come about becoming Michael's representatives?
I had known Randy Jackson for many years. We used to get together socially. every once in a while. And when his brother was in trouble, he called and asked if we would represent Michael. At first we couldn't because we were involved in another high-profile homicide case, but eventually we had a falling out with that client, and then Randy called again and said, are you both free? We want you to defend Michael Jackson, and one thing led to another.
How's working with Michael affected you from both a personal and career aspect?
Oh, it no question changed my career. Without a question, that people, I think, no question identify you with Michael because he was such a big name, more so than any other case. We have handled other high-profile clients, but
what time does the court open?
People are not really interested in hearing
what time is it now?
those
About
cases.
7?
They're more interested in hearing about Michael, even
okay.
though it was
$11.
You
gonna pay you now? Okay.
So it's no question.
You guys, hang on 1 second. I gotta pay the man here.
The documentary that the media often portrayed.
Cash or cash?
Completely disregarded the positive factors that you were displaying. How frustrating was that, and how did you deal with all
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Media during that trial was to basically shut them out.
Okay. Go. Thank you.
Somewhere between suspicion and contempt. We focused on 13 people, the judge and 12 jurors. They were the most important people in that case. Basically, we lived like hermits. We, had our compound with our staff and all of our evidence. We had one war room, we called it, with about 4,000 binders of documents, and all we did was focus on the evidence in the courtroom. We pretty much ignored the media.
So for 5 months, I understand that you were working with Michael for 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. What was it like working with him through such an intense time?
He was one of the easiest clients to represent, the easiest. Most people in that kind of situation, most criminal defendants, behave a little bit differently. But Michael was very, very easy in that, not controlling. Had complete confidence in his lawyers, in us, and wanted to just hang on to his faith.
And what are your thoughts on the current trial surrounding Michael's death?
The Conrad Murray trial? I haven't really followed it on a daily basis, but from what I've heard and seen and a little, I think that the prosecution is presenting a very good case, and I think that Dr. Murray should get convicted because what he did was completely unacceptable, and he's guilty.
And Tom, I know that you previously claimed that when Dr. Conrad Murray gave Michael Jackson the propofol, he violated every ethical obligation he had as his doctor. Do you still stand by that?
Yes, I've been following the case closely and commenting on it a lot. I think what he did was completely unacceptable, unprofessional, and illegal. He may have been a fine doctor for other patients, but when he met Michael Jackson, he threw all of his ethical concerns out the window. He got carried away with being Michael Jackson's physician. He did things that were completely unacceptable, and he cost Michael Jackson his life, and I think he should be convicted as well.
Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Okay, one more video, then I will head up to the outside.
Well, and the other witness that you called was Wade Robson.
Yes.
Who ultimately was one of the two people who did Leaving Neverland. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in this case, Wade Robson took the stand to say that Michael Jackson never did anything improper.
Wade Robson was my first witness. And as I said before, if you're putting on a defense case, you want to start strong, you want to end strong. We started with Wade Robson, we ended with Chris Tucker. Macaulay Culkin was our second witness. I met with Wade, I met with his mother, I met with his sister. I called all three of them as witnesses. And Wade was adamant to me that he was never touched, that he was never violated, that these allegations were nonsense. Because remember, they put on some witnesses to say Wade was molested.
Right.
That they saw it. And he was such a strong witness for us, such a strong defender and supporter of Michael Jackson, that I made him our first witness. But I also called his mother and his sister, who had traveled with Wade and Michael on some of these tours, and they testified they never saw anything bad happen or anything wrong happen. And I mean, the three of them could not have been stronger advocates for Michael Jackson. So when I heard about this movie, Leaving Neverland, I was stunned. Absolutely stunned, because he talked to me. He was adamant he was never touched. I called him as my witness. He testified under oath he was never touched. And then a very, very good prosecutor, Ron Zona, terrific prosecutor and a vicious cross-examiner, went after him tooth and nail, and he never budged. He said it's ridiculous. He never did anything like this to me.
Well, like you said,
words to that effect.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the trial lasted from January to June 2005, and at the end, Michael Jackson was acquitted on all 14 charges.
10 felonies and 4 misdemeanors.
Yeah.
They didn't get him on anything. In fact, just so you know, he was indicted by a grand jury for 10 felony counts. At the end of the trial, as it was going to the jury, the judge said he's going to give the jury some options on the last 4 felony counts. If they acquit him of any of those last 4 felony counts, I'm going to give them the option of convicting him of a misdemeanor. So they had to say guilty or not guilty 14 times. 10 felonies, 4 misdemeanor options. They said not guilty all felonies, not guilty all misdemeanors, not guilty anything.
Sitting next to Michael Jackson, what was his reaction when he heard that news?
You know, he came in the courtroom that day. His cheeks were sunken in. He looked frozen with fear. He just was weakened. You could just see it in his eyes, see it in the way he carried himself. I think he was terrified with fear. I think a lot of people had said to him, the media says you're going to be convicted. I happen to know some people told him he was going to be convicted. And they were trying to cheer him up, that there'll be an appeal and all this. I never said that to him. We went into the courtroom. We sat down. The media was packed in the courtroom and outside the courtroom. In fact, this particular trial had over 2,200 accredited media, which is more accredited media than O.J. Simpson and Scott Peterson combined. That's how big this trial was around the world. So the media is every place. They set up tents everywhere around the courthouse. There was a build-up to the verdict. You know, he had an entourage, some limousines with security, etc. that were on their way to the courthouse. All the major airwaves they were from the courthouse. He comes out of the car with his entourage. I meet him there. We go into the courtroom. Courtroom fills up. The judge comes out, asks for silence. He then brings the jurors out. They fill the jury box. The foreman of the jury hands the verdict forms to the bailiff, who hands the verdict forms to the judge, who looks them over and then asks the jurors, this your verdict? Foreman says yes. And then the court clerk, at the judge's request, reads the verdicts, one count after another. And when the last not guilty came down, I said to Michael, you're free. And he said, thank you, thank you, thank you. We hugged, all the defense team hugged, and then we left the courthouse.
Well, you said that the prosecution is a travesty of justice and one of the most mean-spirited attacks on an innocent person in legal history.
That's how I feel about that case.
Yeah.
I think the way the prosecution constructed this case, the way they charged this case, the way they presented the case, was an absolute travesty of justice. It was almost as if, psychologically, because they were going after someone who was innocent, they went overboard trying to demonize and monsterize the defendant. As I've said earlier, I mean, how do you possibly charge Michael Jackson like he's a mafia chieftain, masterminding a criminal conspiracy of various individuals to falsely imprison a family and abduct children? How do you even come up with that idea?
Right.
I think they did it because they felt we have to go overboard to have a chance of getting him. And fortunately, they failed.
Can you say how much you were paid to defend him?
No, I can't. That's private.
All right. Let me get a quick time check here. 7:12. Oh my God, it's so early. All right, for you guys just tuning in. So we're sitting here in the parking. I have to ask the guy. I don't know if the attorneys, like, if it's a back way to get. I don't know if you have to walk out through here, or if there's like elevator to get to the courtroom. That would be kind of cool. All right, so for those just logging on, so today is the day that hopefully they set the date for the upcoming trial. We know there's a couple motions that they haven't ruled on yet. The two actors want to combine their case into one. That was denied once before on a previous. Yeah, I don't know, Shirley. The other parking lot doesn't open until 7. The one that I was at yesterday. So this guy came in early here at 7. So yeah, it's possible. I mean, I had to pick one or the other. This is the one literally that, because I saw some people drive through. But then I didn't see him walk out here. So I don't know for sure. But hopefully today we get it. Hopefully they set a date. The estate wants to move the venue from here at the Beverly Hills Courthouse to one of 2 locations in Los Angeles. That's one of their motions. I'm assuming that'll be litigated today. And then there's something called the complex litigation program, which is, I can't explain it. I mean, you could go online. I know Shirley did it the other day, but it'll. I think it's kind of written by lawyers for lawyers. So I have where's my notebook? Hold on. Oh my God. No, I brought it. Oh, no. I probably fell. All right. Anyway, I have my notebook. So, I'm going to take notes, the best I can. And I will come back out as soon as, as soon as we can. Here comes a Mercedes coming in. Hold on a second. Oh, I'm pushing numbers. I don't even know what I'm doing here. That is not Tom Mesereau. Okay. That'd be funny. Yeah, so I kind of want to head up there just to see. I don't know if there's going to be cameras in the beginning, maybe at the end. But hopefully, so I know they're going to rule on those three motions. Hopefully, Beverly Hills out here, it's a little far from Glendale, from Forest Lawn, but the downtown locations might be crazy with traffic and parking and people. So I'm kind of torn. In a way, I kind of hope it's. Although I don't know where I'm going to stay. That's the next nightmare. But I just want to find out when it's. Hopefully we get a date, right? So we know. We might have a start date. I don't think we can have a finish date because it would be just an estimate, I think. Crystal Lee. No, we don't want that. No. Look. I better say. I have to bite my tongue a little, you guys. We'll save it for another time. So after this, we're heading to the Jackson's concert next week at the Hard Rock in Tampa, Florida, and then we're going to see Bubbles, and I'm going to head out to Forest Lawn tomorrow morning before I leave. So we'll kind of recap everything that's going on. But yeah, I kind of want to walk outside there just to see. I can't bring the phone holder because I can't bring that in the courthouse. I have the 2 phones.
So who was your pick for person of
but
day? The Michael Jackson fan who released 10 white doves.
There's Big Al sending me a text. All right.
Lead defense lawyer Thomas Mesereau.
You guys, you want to see you want to see another Thomas Mesereau video? You want me to walk outside? The court opens at 8. I think we're on the docket for 8:30. Vivian, no. Look, I'm good. Listen. This is where, we're here. We're representing. I feel like I'm representing you guys today. I'm here for the fans that from around the world that would be here if they could. So, we're not representing Michael. We don't speak for Michael. We'll let Tom Mesereau do that. We just speak for we're the voice for the fans that can't be here. So I'm gonna write down as many notes as I can, and I'm gonna read the notes. Where is my notebook? No, hold on a second, because this is important. It's just sitting here. There it is. Okay. If you're a court stenographer, I keep hitting different buttons. My God, my thumb is too big. Your court stenographer is ready. We have a backup pen. We have 2 phones, and that's that. So we got about 45 minutes. You want another Mesereau? It's going to be so cool just to see him. I have never seen him in person. As you can tell by him speaking, he has such a presence. When the actual trial happens, you'll be seeing a lot of this. Okay, we'll talk about this again tomorrow after we get through today. But I got 3 signs. Of course, I have one of these in my pocket, always ready to go. In Tom we trust, absolutely. Absolutely. In Tom we trust. In Tom we trust. What's going on outside? All right, yeah, I could take a quick. Hang on a second. I could take a quick walk. The only thing is, I'm going to have to leave the phone holder here in case something happens. All right, so both phones are at 100%. Let me take this out of here. Finger's too big. Get my notebook, phone. You know what else is in my pocket, of course. And, okay, here we go. Hold on a second. The guy's looking at me like I'm cuckoo. Well, maybe that's not so far-fetched. All right. Okay, keys, notebook, glove, phone, pen, lock the door. Okay. Come on, you didn't think I would. Yeah, it froze there for a second. Nothing, Shirley. Nothing. Here's the entrance. They're not open till 8 o'clock. No. Nothing. Nothing. Do I want to stand outside here for an hour? Let's see if I could find a little something. No. Is the connection better out here or no? I've cut right out of the connection's worse out here? Worse, better? No? Anybody? Yes, what? What was the question? No, I forgot the question. No breakfast. No breakfast. No breakfast. It's better out here? All right. I'll stand here. Yeah, I mean, no better. What kind of word is that? No better. Okay. Let me see. I can't put the phone anywhere though. That's the problem. Hold on. Let's play the one. There's some people that weren't here. This one here is okay.
Now, and 55% of you chose.
I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it.
His brothers tomorrow. One other thing I didn't cover. Were you I know you left the case. Were you surprised at the Robert Blake verdict?
No, I was not. As you may recall, I did the 3-week preliminary hearing in that case. I thought the case was full of holes and full of problems.
You told me that.
I was not surprised at all.
You told me then you thought he would win. Sorry you left it?
No, you know, life goes on. We had a falling out, and those things happen in the high-pressure world of criminal defense.
So, just let me get on to...
But he hired a very, very excellent lawyer, and who did a very excellent job, and he's free.
It kind of worked out for the good. He was originally on the Robert Blake case, if you remember Robert Blake from Beretta. And he was working on that case the first time Randy Jackson contacted him to come on Michael's case. And fortunately, they had a falling out. Robert Blake was a little, let's just leave it at that. So fortunately, that opened up a spot that he was able to take, Michael's case. So, funny how things work out, right? Like.
Born in West Point, father lieutenant colonel. Worked for his in-laws' restaurant business, Mama Leone's, one of the most successful restaurants ever in America, famous in New York, was an amateur boxer, and represented defendants in death penalty cases.
Can you guys hear this, or should I go back in the car?
Gives free legal assistance to the first African Methodist.
Like there's huge traffic here. I don't know if the cars or I don't know if the noise is.
He explained his life and his philosophy of music and living and his experiences growing up. And when we put all that together, we decided there was nothing really to be achieved by it.
Was there ever a point, Tom, where you were, during this, down?
Larry, it's interesting. All trials have ups and downs, and all trials have surprises. But in this case, I felt that we were very aggressive from the opening bell in our opening statement and in our cross-examination of their initial witnesses. And our plan was to be extremely aggressive and put them on the defensive as quickly as possible, and I think we achieved that. So we had a lot of good days in this trial, particularly in their case and particularly in our case, and I was always confident.
There were some who were saying the prosecution was obsessed with Michael Jackson. Do you share that view?
Yes, I do. I share it completely. I think they were not objective about this case. They were not objective about their witnesses. They were not objective about the theories they tried to prove, which were unprovable because they were false. And I think their obsession really hurt them.
You think it goes back to the settlement years back?
I don't know where it began, Larry. It would appear around that time there developed an obsession about Michael Jackson in this prosecuting agency, but clearly they were not being objective when they put this case together.
But now why, Tom? I mean, they had people come to them, they had a lady come to them, the son telling them stories, they had other people who were witnesses. Why did they make a mistake in going ahead with this?
Well, first of all, they never thoroughly investigated the accusers and the accuser's family, in my opinion. And if you look at the early interviews with the accusers, you'll see the police basically accepting their story before they even investigated who they are. It was really us that found all the problems with these witnesses, with their history, with their backgrounds. The prosecution almost turned a blind eye to what was really going on. And I think even in the middle of the trial, they were trying to deny reality, and it caught up with them.
How big a factor was Macaulay Culkin?
He was a big factor. He was a wonderful witness for Michael Jackson. And I will always have tremendous respect for Macaulay Culkin. He's on top of the world. He didn't have to go to bat for his friend, and he did it anyway. And there never was any doubt that he was going to come and testify. He always said, I want to be there, I want to help Michael Jackson, and I want to tell the truth. He was a big factor, and he was a man of really strong character.
Do you like to talk to jurors after trial, win or lose?
I do. I haven't had the opportunity to do it here, but yes, I do. You always learn things from jurors, and I've never had the privilege to be a juror myself. So, and I've always liked to have the opportunity, but I never did. I always get bumped off when I get called for jury duty.
I would imagine. We had the foreman on last night. We also had one of the jurors who said he believed that Michael Jackson was or is a pedophile. It's just that this prosecution didn't prove this case.
That's what scares me about jurors.
Well, I think he's wrong. Michael Jackson is not a pedophile. He's never been a pedophile. The prosecution has spent years trying to put together a story which they hoped they could prove and failed to prove. Michael Jackson is not a pedophile. He's never molested a child, nor would he ever even conceive of doing such a thing.
So these were concocted stories?
Well, certainly they were concocted by the main accusers, and certainly the prosecution tried to create the impression that other people were molested, and they all came in and said they weren't.
The amazing thing, though, is when you have a guy who's certainly different from the norm, a man who sleeps with boys, to get a jury, as my friend Edward Williams used to say, what you have to do with a jury is to get the jury to put themselves in your client's shoes. If the jury can put themselves in your client's shoes, you win. How does someone put themselves in Michael Jackson's shoes?
Well, first of all, Larry, this notion that he sleeps with boys was a concoction by the prosecution. What he said very openly was that he allows families into his room. Now, his room is the size of a duplex. It's 2 levels. He's had mothers sleep there, fathers sleep there, sisters sleep there, brothers sleep there. The prosecution concocted this little saying about sleeping with boys because they thought it would turn off the jury, and they failed. But yes, we did have to explain who Michael Jackson was to the jury, that he's a very creative spirit, a very gentle soul, a brilliant musician, a brilliant choreographer, and a very sensitive person who's very concerned about the world and the problems in the world. And he has a very childlike spirit and essence to him, and he attracts children all over the world. We did have to explain who he was, but this is a country which prides itself on diversity, on the freedom to be who you are, and we never diverted our attention from who Michael was. We never tried to make him look like anything but himself. He never tried to dress differently for the courtroom. Our whole intention was to...
You want to know what's funny? when you listen to people that tell the truth speak, they just speak and speak and speak. They look directly at you. Look at everyone else that we've been watching for the past hour, right? The way their eyes go and they stutter and they like it's so obvious. But to hear one member of the jury say that, it's a little concerning. Once again, for those, this is a civil case. If it goes to jury, if in California, if it's a civil trial and if it's a jury trial, instead of a criminal case where you need the 12 jurors to agree 12-0, unanimous decision, if it's 11-1 and you can't get the last one to agree, it would be a hung jury. Then the prosecution would have the choice of if they want to try the case again. If it's 11-1, normally they do. If it's like 6-6, they may or may not. But in a civil trial, which also has 12 jurors, you only need 9 of the 12 to agree. So let's put it this way, it's a little easier for the prosecution. And the burden of proof, which in a criminal trial would be basically beyond a reasonable doubt, in a civil trial is just a slight, like a little more yes than no, a 50.1% yes versus 49.9% no. So the burden of proof is less, and instead of a 12-0 vote, they only need a 9-3 vote. So that it's a little easier than a civil trial. And like when you hear jurors like that, sometimes it's better if it's just a judge. Sometimes, I mean, assuming the judge is, look, we have to. All right, I don't want to say what I'm thinking, but you can figure it out. If everyone's on the up and up, any judge that hears this, and by the way, for you guys saying, how can this happen? Only in America, as Don King would say, could this happen. It's one of the problems with the legal system. Tom Ezra says we have the best system in the world, but it isn't perfect. And the reason I'm standing here today is because it isn't perfect. You can appeal, it can get thrown out, you can reverse the appeal, you take it to a higher court, you take it to an appellate court, the appellate court overrides the trial court, the Supreme Court if it went to that. So that's why we're here. And the other problem is you can't slander a dead person, which, keep that in mind on Victory Day. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. But that's part of the problem too. So and you said, Crystal, we talk 100 hours a week. You say how can they do this? There isn't any deterrent. They have nothing. They have zero to lose. I'm assuming the lawyers are not getting paid up front. Yes, Lonika. Yeah, absolutely. That's what scares me a little. But look, it's not going to get thrown out. No. The reason we're here is it did get thrown out a couple times, but it got reversed on the throw out. So that I mean a reversal on the appeal. So it's not going to get thrown out. It's definitely going to. I mean, unless something miraculous happens. The two actors changed lawyers from the first lawyers that they had. I mean, reading between the lines, okay? The reason they didn't bring this when Michael was alive is because Michael would have, they wouldn't have had a chance if Michael was alive. So now they wait until he passes, and you can't slander a dead person. So it's a free shot for them. They were hoping that the estate would settle. We're actually glad we're here today, and we did not want the estate to settle. We learned that years ago, and we saw what happened in the 90s. That's really the reason we're here today. Well, Tom Snedden's really the reason we're here today, but let's save that, for the end. But so we're happy that they didn't settle. We're happy that we would have been happier, of course, if the appeal wasn't reversed. But the second thing is that we could have settled, which we definitely didn't want that to settle. And once again, financially, well, no, I mean, financially, they're asking for crazy money, I think. I don't know if we find that out today. That'd be interesting, what they're asking for. I'm not really sure. This is my first time in a hearing, so I really don't know. I'm just gonna take notes. I'm gonna try to write everything down, and then when the trial starts, unfortunately, I'm gonna hear things that I wish I didn't have to hear, but that's all part of it. So we'll worry about that when we get there. But I saw that 1.4. But yeah, I'm going in. They don't open until 8 o'clock, Drew. Be patient. Let it simmer. We're out here. We're out here with all my friends. Okay, there's people driving by saying, why is this guy in a Michael Jackson outfit in front of court? I can only imagine what they're thinking in their head. So listen, hopefully we get some answers. We drove a long way for this. Yeah, but I really, just to see, like Tom Mesereau is, really, he's a hero when you think about it. He literally saved Michael's life. That's not an exaggeration. I'm assuming maybe they parked at another, or maybe there's an underground. There was an underground lot, the other lot. So I don't know. Maybe that's where they slide high profile. Donna, I'm not sure. I don't think they paid legal fees. I think the lawyers are just taking it on a if we win, we get X. I mean, you're talking hundreds of million or billion of dollars, whatever. I mean, whatever percentage. So, no, it hasn't started, Miriam. It hasn't started. So, they take it. They'll get a little publicity from it. And, look, there's not much work. They're faced with two, they're faced with heads and tails. If it was a regular court, okay, the second actor from America, when he says something happened in a train station that wasn't built yet, that would be like someone's accused of committing a crime that was in a different country, like on camera. Like the thing would get thrown out. It wouldn't even get to here. So when they interviewed Tom Mesereau after the fictional cable movie came out, he said, when he was not on the case at this point, he said it would be a defense attorney's dream to cross-examine these witnesses. So he's gonna get his dream. I mean, that's gonna be. They have nothing to lose, Wendy. It's a free shot. They were hoping they would settle. The first attorney team that the actors had specialized in like insurance settlements and claims like that, where they settle out of court. Like they weren't really trial attorneys. So that's what they were hoping, obviously. And the estate had different lawyers. The estate had a different legal team too, which had a couple quotes that I didn't really. Once again, so the whole, yeah. Well, look, there is such a thing as perjury. Like, you can't tell two sides of a story. Obviously, one of them's a lie. So the minute you change your story, but he hasn't done it under. Well, yeah. I'm sorry. He did it in his deposition. Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely, Shirley. Right. So they have nothing to lose. Look, it's a little bit of legwork. They get their name on the case and they roll the dice. It's like a free shot. It's a free shot. And they wait until the biopic is coming out. This is a perfect time. Thinking, I'm assuming this. I don't know. I have no facts on this. This is just me as an observer. You're assuming that the estate doesn't want the bad publicity going into this, which is probably true, of course. But so the estate had a different legal team also. And but now we got the A team. You want to talk the dream team? That's the dream team. Sadly, Michael didn't have the dream team in the mid-90s when he was told to settle the case, the first case, against the first father that committed suicide. This year's case was the second father that the actor number one's father, he hung himself. The first alleged accuser shot himself. But yeah, so coincidence? Highly unlikely. But we'll leave that for another day. I don't want to start preaching. Yeah. I'm looking for the choreographer. He's not here. The choreographer has not arrived yet. What time is it? Quickly. 7:44. All right, 15 minutes. So listen, I'm gonna walk in when the doors open. It looks like there's nobody here. I mean, I don't want to be the only one in the courtroom. Like that would be, that'd be crazy. Yeah, John. Yeah. Larry Feldman. Yeah, Elizabeth. Yeah. Look, it made financially, it made sense to make it go away. Mr. Jackson thought it was a bad idea at the time. Looking back, of course, it was short term. It made sense. Long term is why we're standing out here. This is the result. This all starts with the. Yeah, I mean, Tom's on the case. Yeah. Well, so that's where we are. So I'm gonna go in at 8. I'm gonna sit in the front row there. I think I know which side the defense is on. If not, it looks like there won't be a big crowd. I could slide over. So I mean, I'd love to be. Of course, I can't take a picture, but. Oh, Pearl, really, Sherry? Oh no. Oh wow. Oh boy. All right. Well. Hey. Look. I'm a reporter. I will write down as much as I can write down. All right. So everybody can see what really was said, not what anybody else reports. I'll show you guys my notes. So at least we'll have that. But once again, there's not going to be any test. Yeah, the Pepsi jacket. It's a little cool. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But anyway, yeah. So, so I say 8:30. I mean, I don't know. Maybe just check in every maybe 15 minutes. I'll the minute I walk outside, I will. Okay, someone just came out of the courthouse. Here, we'll show you there. I don't know if she works there. She might have been an employee. I don't know, but. Really? Oh, wow. Yeah, look. I'm going to... Now, see, I got to be careful what I say. All right. I'm not good at biting my tongue. You guys that know me. But as soon as I get out, I will log on immediately. Maybe I'll go to the car. If there's media out here, I will gladly speak to the media. A couple Mercedes pulling in. Although everyone out here has a Mercedes, so it's not really a big it's not really a big deal. You guys have anything? Final 10 minutes. 7:47. All right. Yeah, so we have to turn our phone, no electronics allowed inside. So I'd say maybe, I don't know, just hit the notification bell. Yeah, the case is 8:30, Wendy, on the docket. I did my research yesterday, so I know what courtroom to go to. I know where to sit. If I'm sitting on the wrong side, I will clearly slide over to the right side. We hope today, Jennifer. We hope that today. I'm hoping he sets. I mean, unless there's a ton of motions that they're going to come up with to delay, but it doesn't make sense. Clearly, the estate doesn't want to delay. I wouldn't think. Tom Ezra knows the case. Susan Yu knows the case inside out. There isn't any new evidence. They didn't mention register. Surely they didn't mention that yet. Look, anything. Yeah, I don't know. I spoke to the bailiff that was in there yesterday, and he said it's open to the public. What I'm allowed to bring, what I can't bring. Then I spoke to the security guys. What can you bring? What can you not bring? So, but look, anything, I don't know. Anything, he could close the courtroom for all I know. I don't know. This is not my field. But, unless people are not, the only thing I can think of is everyone's parking in that main lot there on the side. I just found this little lot over here with the guy from yesterday, and then maybe there's a back entrance. Maybe there's two entrances. But you know what? When you come down the elevator, you have to come out the front door, unless there's a back way through the courtroom itself. Well, yeah, I guess there must be. The judge, maybe they go out through the judge's quarters. It seems odd. Not one person. Let me take one more walk. Hang on a second. We'll take a little. Yeah, I thought I was in the underground lot for the court. Like that made them, like, mine is connected to the building. The one I was at yesterday, you kind of have to walk a little. You have to go through the police station. It's still early though, yes. Yeah, there's only one crazy who was here at 6 in the morning. Accessible entrance. This is the building. Look, the building ends here. Okay, here's an alleyway. Hold on, live and learn, right? Sheriffs. Reserved, sheriff. don't know, you guys. I mean, unless one of these doors open. Here's the sheriff right here. Hey, I don't really want to film the sheriff. I mean, I guess you could walk in through there, I guess. But it's not like there's anything. It's not like there's anything open. I think the lot I'm at would make the most sense. Would make the most sense. Like, I'll ask the guy. Well, all right. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't want to. I don't think I want him to see me out here, you know, filming. Like, although. Oh, the places we go, you guys. This looks like a camera. This looks like a camera. There he is. There he is, you guys. There he is. Me and the choreographer. Okay. No, it's not media. That's the choreographer. Hello. That's the choreographer. Dan Reed. Hello, Shirley. Dan. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Okay, so, all right, so look, here's the deal. Hold on, here's the sheriff. He's talking to the security guys who are very friendly. Okay, so I'm gonna yeah, he's in a hat. He's in a hat, and he has his little assistant with him. So I'm gonna keep my camera on the whole time. You guys screenshot this, Crystal. Okay, in case something happens, I lose the. No. He's talking to the police right now. Okay, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see if he approaches me. Okay, I'm gonna see if he approaches me. He had his two big cameras with him, so yeah. Big Al, get ready. Where's Big Al when I need him? I kind of want to get a little footage of him. Yeah. So what's happening is the police guy is showing him where to keep his camera. So he's gonna have to keep his camera. I'm assuming the one person's gonna stay outside, and he's gonna probably go inside. So, hey, we're ready. We've trained. I've done my research. I'm gonna stand here. I think I hear him coming. There he is. He's peeking at me. He said, "Hey, it's Michael." Shirley? He films me, I will film him. Is Bill Whitfield out there? Bill? Ron calling Bill. Come in, Bill. Bill Whitfield. Annie, that's funny. Okay, well, Tell the Michael Jackson Day is coming. Yeah, yeah. The cameras are. Hang on a second. Yeah, Sherry. I'm gonna make like I'm talking to you guys, like. Hi.
Today, from the strange and weird fact finder, singer Michael Jackson sleeps in an oxygen chamber. The singer says that the chamber has the benefits. We've got more ahead. Singer Michael Jackson has made off just Michael Jackson. Okay, so it's, where'd he go? There he is.
So it's 8:07. I'm gonna kind of walk in. I was kind of waiting for him to walk in, right? It's gonna be like a game of chicken almost. Yeah, but I don't want to. I know, Vivian. Look, let me tell you something. You guys that know me, if I wasn't on Facebook Live right now. All right, I'm not going to say. Look, this is good prep for the trial. We're going to have hundreds of days of this. So if you knew what I was thinking, you guys. All right. Just some lady. I don't know. It's just some lady. I think. I don't know. I'm not sure what she's saying. But there's nobody here. Like, Cornell. No one knows. It's just some lady. Just some lady. Just some innocent lady that happened to walk in between, walked in between good and evil. They were not expecting that. They were not expecting some guy to be out there filming them. There's no chance. The only question in my mind is, when do I bring out the glove? I'm going to bring out the glove at the end. All right. So look. So here. Look. So we know that we know they're going to be there the whole time. Obviously, he's going to try to get the lawyers walking in and out. So, stay tuned for part 2. Okay, this is part 1. The fun will start. I'm gonna actually. Why don't we do this, you guys? I'm gonna log off right now. I'm gonna post this, then I'm gonna log back on again. Yeah, I think we're gonna save the glove, Zorica, for the finale. Okay, I'm gonna log off quick. I'm gonna post this so we don't get blocked and lose all this. Okay, I'm gonna log on in 1 minute. Okay, I'll be right back.